is Soraya. I'm a G10 student, and for today's podcast, I'll be interviewing Ms Flo, who is an OED teacher here at ISAK. So, hi, Ms Flo. Thank you for joining us, and welcome to the podcast. So, the purpose of the interview is to find out more about you, your experiences, as well as your challenges that you've encountered, and what you've done to overcome them to become who you are today. And just a reminder that there's no pressure involved in answering the questions, so just feel free to answer them as you'd like. So can you give us a very brief introduction about yourself and your position in the school?
Yes, okay, thank you, Soraya. My position is Outdoor Education Coordinator, so OED stands for Outdoor Education.
So the first question is, how did you become an OED teacher?
So it's funny because my background is not outdoor education, it's teaching languages. So I started my career as a French language assistant and I became French teacher. But I've always loved the outdoors and I've always done a lot of outdoor activities myself on a personal level. And so in every school I've worked at, I was involved in helping out the OED program. And I was involved more and more, starting as an assistant. And then I realized I really loved it. So I started to take a course, an outdoor education course. So I stopped teaching French. I took a year off and I took some outdoor education courses in the UK. And once I got my qualification, then I started working as an OED teacher. I was combining teaching French and OED. And this is my first time as a full-time OED coordinator.
What drew you to UWC? Because I saw that you worked at UWC in South Africa? East Africa?
Yep. Yeah, I worked at UWC East Africa, and before that I also worked at UWC Maastricht in the Netherlands.
So what drew you to the UWC movement?
The mission statement, I think, is very powerful, the UWC mission statement. I believe UWC school try to really implement this concretely in the curriculum, in the program. It's not just a statement that looks good and nothing is done about it. So that's one thing that really drew me to the UWC movement. But also, you might be aware, maybe or maybe not, the founder of UWC is Kurt Ham, and he also is the founder of a lot of outdoor education schools and movements.
I didn't know that. That's very interesting. I wanted to elaborate a little bit about the last question, actually. So what made you switch from being an IB French teacher to being like a full-time OED teacher? Like, what was the reason?
I think it comes to what people really enjoy doing in life. And I enjoyed being a French teacher, but I enjoyed more being outdoor education teacher. And at some point you ask yourself, because work is such a big part of anybody's life, I think it's really important to evaluate, okay, do you enjoy your work? Are you happy, or what could make you happier in your workplace? And I realized I'm happier as a OED teacher than a French teacher. Even though I really enjoyed my job as French teacher, I thought that makes me happier, and that's mainly the reason why I switched.
That's very nice, actually. But being an OED teacher is, I would say, very unusual, because at my old school I didn't have like an outdoor education program. So coming here, it was very different and very unique. As a teaching position, I feel like it's very different from, I guess, normal teachers, I guess. So how would you say, or what do you think are like the struggles of this job, or the struggles and challenges of being an OED teacher?
Yeah, you're right. It's quite unusual, and there's no set curriculum for OED. So I have basically to develop myself. So you could see it as a challenge and a struggle, because there's not much in place already. Like, there's no textbook for OED, and so it could be seen as a challenge because I have to set it up myself. But I also see it as an opportunity. I'm free to develop the program based on what you guys are interested in, what we are interested in. So that's it can be seen both as challenge and opportunities. Right now, a struggle or a challenge is the quarantine, and doing OED online is definitely not ideal. So I'm struggling to find ways to make this fun or interesting at the same time.
I think that's definitely hard, like having to, be indoors while being like an outdoor education teacher.
Exactly, indoors and in front of a computer, when the whole point of OED is to be outdoors in the nature.
Yeah, exactly. So when things get tough, how do you find yourself, how do you keep yourself motivated, and how do you sort of deal with these problems?
So I try to be aware of what I feel, be aware of my emotions, and regulate them. And then I look at the cause of the problem. Like, is it something that I can do? Is there something I can do about this struggle to change it? So if there's something I can do about it, then it keeps me positive, and I'm focusing, okay, I need to do this, look at what's important, look at what's it needed, and then take action. If there's nothing I can do about it, like this whole coronavirus pandemic is out of control, out of my hands, so in that case, whatever are the consequences, such as online learning and difficulties coming with that, it's something that you don't have control over. So I think, okay, I just need to allow this to happen or accept the situation, and that keeps me positive rather than complaining or blaming. I just allow and just go with the flow.
Can you perhaps mention a time or when something happened on a hiking trip or an OED trip that you were faced with something very difficult and you had to stay positive? Can you give an example of a time that happened and what you did to cope with it, I guess?
2 years ago at UWC East Africa, we had an OED trip, a 3-day trip, 2 nights, overnight, to summit the 3rd highest peak in Tanzania. And on the 2nd night, so just before summiting, at around midnight, one student wakes me up to say that his tent partner is missing. He thinks that the tent partner decided to summit on his own at night time without informing anyone. So I was stressing out because it was kind of a challenging hike, red hike, high up. It was just the wrong thing to do. I had a lot of thoughts and emotion going around my head. But what I had to do and what I did is stay calm, think of an action plan, speak to other leaders who were in camp. So we put together a search and rescue. So that's how I dealt with this issue.
Wow.
But I have to say, when you face discomfort, it's not easy. And finally, after an hour and 30 minutes of searching, we found the student. And so the situation was resolved.
This is not too much about OED, but what are some of the core values that you value the most? And how do you apply them into your daily life?
If I just give you a few examples, it would be authenticity or honesty, trying to be authentic, to be yourself, basically. Don't try to be do things that are not fully representing yourself. Being happiness or enjoyment would be also very important. I mentioned earlier, to do something, does it make you happy? Are you enjoying it? And I guess if the answer is no, then maybe you should do something else. And this can touch big part of your life, such as your career or what you want to do later on in life.
I think those are very important, and myself, I try to implement those in my life as well. Sometimes it's hard, but I think, like staying true to yourself and finding what makes you happy is definitely very important. So now that you are like a part of the ISAK community, how do you identify the needs of the people here, and what are some ways you address them?
One way to identify the student need is I just ask students what would they like to do in OED and what would they like to do more of. I ask if they had experience before in their previous school, and what basically I straight away ask them so they have a voice, or so they have an agency basically to be part of the OED curriculum.
What would you say is the most rewarding part of being an OED teacher?
I would say it's to be out in beautiful environment with you guys, like spending some time together, have nice conversations while being in a beautiful environment. So I think that's really rewarding. I really enjoy that, and also to see like students big smiles when they never skied before, and after 90 minutes of a ski lesson they can like snow plow down, and just like super happy of being able to do skiing or whatever activity it is.
For me, since being here at ISAK, I've taken the opportunity to go hiking as much as I can, like every few weeks, and for me, I've seen such beautiful things, and I'm very grateful for like all that you do for our community, and I really enjoy the weekend hikes. But whenever I tell my friends to come hiking with me, they never come. So as a final question, what would you tell people to encourage them to join or participate more in the OED program here at ISAK?
That's a good question. I would say try it. If your friends, I don't know who are you specifically referring to, but if they haven't tried an OED trip yet, they should just try it. And yes, it's tiring, but it will get easier.
Thank you so much, Ms Flo, for allowing me to interview you. Your stories are truly inspiring, and I look forward to speaking with you again someday, perhaps on my next hike. So thank you so much again.